I think we don't have an intro, so...
Nope, we do not.
Right. So, welcome to the What Makes a Maker show. Yeah, I think it's a show. I want it to be a show, so I'm calling it a show. Welcome to the What Makes a Maker show. Thank you so much for having me inside of your pirate ship. I know you pretty well. I would consider us friends, but for the people who don't know you, can you give us a quick intro?
My name is Brett McAfee. My brand or my name is Skull and Spade. I've been on YouTube for a little over a year now, and I make stuff. I make all kinds of weird stuff. I made you a video game.
That's true. You made me into a video game. I was so surprised to see all of your stuff in person when I came in the shop, because I watch your videos, I try to keep up with them, but seeing it all together in real life, it makes so much sense then.
Yeah.
And when you started doing your pirate theme, I was like, cool, why, what? And now it's like, yeah, of course, a pirate. So my first question would be, have you always been a pirate?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
How were you a pirate as a kid?
No, I honestly, I've had this discussion with a couple of people, and there was a movie called Princess Bride, if you've ever seen it.
I don't, oh yes, yeah.
With Carrie Elwes.
Gene.
And Andre the Giant's in it, and there's sword fights and everything in it, but he plays a character called the Dread Pirate Roberts. We used to rent on VHS from the library to watch that movie, and I always liked that he was blonde and had blue eyes and was a pirate, but he had an English accent, which I'm not going to attempt to.
Are you working on it though?
Absolutely. What am I, Madonna? I'll just like slowly go into Englishisms. No, and I was always really into the theme, just old ships and flags and people just traveling the world. I think it was just an easy equation when I was little, that pirates must be the ones that travel all over and don't listen to anybody and do whatever they want.
Right. They get to do. They get to have all the adventures.
Yes.
And no rules.
Yeah.
Sailing.
Yes.
I can see that.
And then there was just a lot of traveling that happened. All the adventures and the exploration made a lot of sense to me. And then I always just kind of stuck onto it. I mean, the Disney movies came out with the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. The first time I put my toes in the Pacific Ocean, I remember just feeling correct. Like something about my life had gone correct, that I was standing in the ocean.
Wow.
And I've always been kind of fascinated by deep sea creatures, and I like the ocean.
Okay.
I would live on the water.
Cool.
I thought Simone's houseboat was like the coolest thing on the planet.
Alfred, right? Was it Alfred? I think it was called Alfred.
Something like that.
It doesn't matter. So with your YouTube channel, you have this super strong pirate branding. And I think one of the coolest things about YouTube is that you can do whatever you want to do. And the more niche your content is, the more likely you are to find a following. Because people like it. When they like something weird and then they see you doing the same thing, you have a fan. Do you feel that corners you now? Because you have such a small niche. Do you feel cornered by that? Or do you think it doesn't matter if I'm into cowboys tomorrow, or if I want to go climbing, I could do that? Or do you feel like you have to stick with that in order to keep your career going?
It's more of a playful mood. I try and set a scene by building this, so that every time you get into one of my videos, you get the scene, right? You're brought into an environment. That was the whole reason behind this. Right. I work better when I can be in my environment, and where most people would have that as a shop. I'm a nerd for production, so this made more sense to me. You know, we have the video game videos that we've done, and that's a part of my personality, as well as, you know, the blacksmithing stuff. That's not so piratey oriented, but I always try and shift or toe the line a little bit. But I have, you know, nerdy geeky stuff. I've done the Firefly reference things with a few of our friends in the makerspace, and I have a love for movies and television and pop culture things. So I think it's always going to shift because it's how my brain works.
Cool.
So I'm hoping that it's more of a development of, let's see what he's up to today, rather than I go to that guy to see specifically piratey stuff.
I think that's the right way to do it, to be honest, if I can give you my opinion on that. So I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
If you were to start a second channel, what would it be? if you had the capacity to run another channel, I know it's like nobody even wants to think about it because it's so stressful. But if you had the capacity to start a second channel, what would it be about?
Probably more outdoor driven. Like I really just like to get away and kind of disappear.
Because pirates are so indoor.
Yeah, right. I like to just explore, and anytime I get an opportunity to travel, I have a tendency to just kind of either leave my phone behind or just turn it off completely and then just disappear into everything and try and keep my bearings enough to get back.
All right.
But like when I was in Scotland, I just started walking, and then I hit King Arthur's throne. It's like the big famous mountain, and I was like, oh, okay, I've hit the edge of where I should walk. I should walk back now.
Okay.
And it's not such a big area, you can't really get lost, but I drive kind of the long way most of the time. It seems very metaphorical towards life. It's just like, take the long way around. There's more to see over there.
Yeah.
So if I was going to do that, it would probably be more with adventures, like rock climbing. I like rock climbing. I haven't gotten to do it so much recently because the channel's kept me pretty busy, but show the offbeat ways of doing things, you know. It's one thing to travel to a new country and maybe experience a little bit of the culture. It's another thing entirely to go to another country and go, my first thing I like to do, because this is very true, is find the nearest graveyard and walk through it.
Oh, really?
That's just what I do every time.
I always go for the record stores, but graveyard is good.
I'm a little dark and weird.
Okay, so there is probably not the capacity to do a second channel because I watched you. I mean, you're working your ass off, at least for a year now. You've been going pretty hard with your YouTube game.
Yeah.
What is keeping you motivated? Like, what's your motivation to work so hard, especially as a still rising channel? Like, you can't lean back and let the videos work for themselves. None of us can, but we all want to. But what's the motivation? What keeps you going?
I have a really, really close-knit and very positive community. I got welcomed into a podcast, you know, that's been going really well. So I'm trying to find different outlets to stay involved in the community and also try and bleed into it a little bit more with the attitude, which is, scumbaggy, pirate, fun, weirdness, but it's trying to be, you know, motivational, and you can be weird and like video games and motorcycles and pirate stuff and deer skulls and whatever the hell you want. It's all about sharing the attitude of trying to stay positive and make whatever the hell makes you happy.
Yeah, making is an attitude, right? Didn't you say that? Isn't that your famous quote? Cool, so the last question and the most important question, I think, what do you think makes a maker? Because I was always struggling with that term. I wanted to be a maker. I wanted people to see me as a maker. Still to this day, I don't completely understand what a maker is because it's so broad. It's such a broad term, right? So what do you think makes a maker?
There are a lot of people battling around, you know, am I a woodworker or am I a metal worker or a blacksmith or a leather worker? And I don't know if I've heard it somewhere. I don't necessarily think I originated it. Maybe, I don't know. If I did, super neat. But I think it's an attitude, right? Making is an attitude. I don't think it matters what material you're working in or whether you're crafts or engineering or science, you know, or a machinist, right? Machinists to me are a completely different breed. I don't understand that world, but they're making tools or knobs or perfect little precision parts and stuff. If another person on the other side of the planet is crocheting, you know, beautiful pieces of fabric work, the fact that you can call them both makers because they're creating and they're using their creativity and their knowledge of the tools to create a final product. That's just an attitude. I'm setting out to solve a problem. You know, my neck is cold. I made a scarf. All right. I lost a knob on my machine. I made a knob on my machine. The attitude, I think, is what makes a maker.
That's great. That's great, actually. That's a really good answer. Cool. So thank you for being a guest on this new show. And if you guys want to find out more about Brett's pirate weirdness, go check out his channel. Also, maybe you want to consider wearing one of those beautiful patches or a shirt or whatever you can get on your online store. Thank you so much, and I think we go back to making stuff now, right?
Yeah.
Cool. See you next time.
Bye, guys.